I want to make a video about the history of Iraq. Because everyone always talks about their modern-day problems, but no one talks about how awesome their history is. The history of Iraq can be traced back to the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, commonly known as the Fertile Crescent. This region is believed to be one of the cradles of civilization. In 1800 BC, the Sumerians settled in southern Iraq and are believed to have been the first to invent the plow, the wheel, and the sail. They also developed the world's first known system of writing. Other early Mesopotamian civilizations like the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians followed. Famous rulers such as Hammurabi, Nebuchadnezzar, and Tiglath-Pileser III left their mark on the region, establishing empires that stretched from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. Ancient Mesopotamia was also home to some of the world's first great works of art and architecture. The ziggurats of Ur and the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are just two examples of the incredible structures that were built during this time period. But it was during the Islamic period that Baghdad became one of the most important cities in the world. In the 8th century, it was the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate and the seat of a vast empire that stretched from Spain to India. Baghdad was a center of trade, culture, and learning, and its library was one of the largest in the world. Muslim scholars made important contributions to mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, and many of their works were translated into Latin and Greek, preserving them for future generations. However, in 1258 Hulagu Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, conquered Baghdad and destroyed its library, ending the city's golden age. Over the next few centuries, Iraq came under the rule of various nomadic tribes, including the Mongols, the Ottomans, and the Safavids. In the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire conquered most of Iraq. During their rule, the region became known as the Ottoman Empire's breadbasket due to its fertile lands and agricultural production. However, by the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was in decline, and Iraq was becoming increasingly marginalized. In World War I, the British and the Russians wanted to take control of the region, so they made a deal. If Britain controlled the region, Russia would get Constantinople. After defeating the Ottoman Empire, the British took control of Iraq and made it a British protectorate. The Hashemite family, which had ruled over the region during the Ottoman Empire, was given control of the new country of Iraq. In 1958, a group of army officers led a coup and overthrew the monarchy. The country was then run by a series of juntas until 1973 when Saddam Hussein came to power. Under his rule, Iraq became increasingly authoritarian, and the country's economy and infrastructure began to deteriorate. In 1980, Iraq went to war with Iran, and the conflict lasted for 8 years. The war devastated both countries and left Iraq in a weakened state. In 1990, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, hoping to take control of its oil fields. But this led to the First Gulf War, in which a US-led coalition fought to drive Iraqi forces out of Kuwait. After the war, Iraq was hit by a series of UN sanctions that caused widespread hardship and suffering, especially among the country's children. In 2003, the United States led an invasion of Iraq and toppled Saddam Hussein's regime. The war in Iraq has been one of America's longest and most controversial wars and has had a major impact on the country's history and development. The war has resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians and has left the country in a state of political and economic instability. Today, Iraq is a country that is still trying to rebuild itself after decades of war and conflict. Despite the challenges it faces, Iraq remains an important country in the Middle East and the cradle of civilization. Its people have made significant contributions to art, science, and culture and continue to play an important role in the region. So yeah, that is the history of Iraq. It's a very long history and I barely scratched the surface. But if you know any more about the history of Iraq, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe.